Hey, everybody. Thank you for popping into this quick session. 2 seconds here. All right. So on a day-to-day basis, I see in the server that sometimes people might not know the verbiage or exactly how our signals are supposed to be read or supposed to be acted on. So I wanted to take the time to cover that quickly for you today. The first thing is really, what is a signal? So in my mind, a signal is a tool that traders can use to see other parts of the market that maybe we're not aware of at that time. Having more eyes on the market, being able to watch more tickers, maybe watching things that you don't normally watch, provides a very strong advantage to you as a trader. We can't be everywhere at once, not individually, but as a team or by utilizing signals, we're able to observe much more of the market than we would be able to on our own. And it allows us to see things that we might not have otherwise been able to catch. As we're starting to read signals, each moderator has a little bit different verbiage with what they use, but the end goal or the end result is going to be the same thing. So at a very base level, if we're going and we're looking at Rippy God's channel currently, we can see that signals are called in pretty much the same fashion. And what makes up a signal is you have your ticker. So in this case, we're looking at SPX as our ticker. We have our strike. So 41.30 is our strike price. This will be the contract that we end up purchasing. For us, because we only deal with naked calls and naked puts, we never need to worry about, are we buying or selling these? We're always buying to open. Then we need to determine what we're actually buying. So this is a put and then the expiration. So it doesn't matter what the ticker is, the structure or the information that you need to actually play the contract is going to be the same. So remember, ticker, strike price, whether we're looking at a call or a put, and the expiration. So the first thing that I look at when I see new people take signals is they don't realize the lifespan of what this signal is or how long that this can go. So depending on each trader's style, so for Hassan specifically, his signal might play out in the course of a few minutes, right? It may be an hour, but more likely than not, his signals, so this is the signal itself, might not hold up, might not be viable within an hour, might not be viable within 10 minutes. So the first and the most important thing when people are joining the server is to take the time to figure out each trader's style before actually taking any of the calls by that trader. Now, if you've been around for a few days and you've seen Hassan make his plays, you know they're very quick. You know that you need to be there and you need to be watching and be present to really make the most or take advantage of a lot of these plays. Now, that's not always true, but this brings up one of the most important things is you can't be chasing any of these signals, right? So you read it and your first thing you're looking, you're like, okay, cool. I know the contract, I know the ticker, I know the expiration. So we're going to pull that up and we add that to either our watch list or pull it up to our active trader or whatever we do to make the purchase on our broker. It's going to change platform to platform. And from there, we need to look at two things. Is the play still viable? So here, the next part of this signal is the actual purchase price, right? So if I'm going and I'm looking at the signal and it's this time it's 9:38, and he's saying that he's buying this contract at $12, right? So this is the purchase price. And I go to my broker and now the contract price is $14 or the contract price is $10. Well, I need to reevaluate and make sure that this is even a viable trade to take anymore. In a perfect world, we'd be able to take the position the second a moderator actually signals them. When you're dealing with scalping or day trading, like Hassan signals, this is very important, being able to take them as soon as possible because the fluctuation in price and the fluctuation in value is going to change relatively rapidly. If we're dealing with somebody that is more swing focused, so let's say reality, we might be able to get away with, getting into a position an hour or 2 hours. I've gotten into positions, the reality signaled at the end of the day, and they've still been viable. You need to know what the duration is for these trades to make sure that you can take them. If you can fill at the exact same price at the exact same time as the moderator's signal, that's perfect. But if you're 5 minutes behind, if you're 10 minutes behind, you leave your phone in the car or you're running away to get a coffee, you need to make sure that the play is still viable, because that 10 to 15% difference, or it could be significantly more if we're taking zero DTE plays, could mean the entire difference between a profitable play and a play where you're going to lose money. So we say don't chase the play. If you happen to not make it, there's no point in, you're bummed, you're going to FOMO into the play. That is only going to hurt you at the end of the day. You want to make sure that you're sticking around and able to take the plays as quickly as possible. What we see here is just a basic position. So we're just buying to open. This is the very start. Now, as the day progresses, and if a stock continues to run in one direction or the other, we might have things where Hassan calls that he's looking for a roll up. Let's see if I can find one today, which I can't. So when we see roll up, that means that, let's say that we took the 4130 put and SPX continued to go down. So we're looking to add a new position on. So we're going to roll some of the profits that we got from the first position into this new position. Let's just say it's 4100. The second position and the third position that you take while a stock is already moving in a specific direction, in the same direction, you're going to put less money into. You want to either play a lighter position with the amount of money that you have, or just want to profits. Stock, right? Likelihood of it move same direction, linear, becomes less and less. Like you see it occasionally. We have days where we rip straight up, or we come straight down, but most of the time we'll have a bounce. So as the day goes on, the likelihood of that happening becomes stronger and stronger, right? Maybe you're not going to bounce all the way back up to where you came before, or come all the way down to where you started, but the stock will eventually try and correct itself and go the opposite direction of the way that it's going. When that's going to happen, you don't really know, but the longer you're in a position, the more likely that is. So I see people who don't understand what a roll up is, or don't understand that maybe you want to play with less than your normal position sizing when you're doing that. And then they'll get burnt because we've already taken a position 2 times. We've already taken a position 3 times. And this is now the 3rd contract, or potentially even the 4th contract strike that we're trying to utilize, right? So make sure that when you're looking at the actual signal call out, you want to make sure that it is the first position, right? Of the day, of that direction. If you do see somebody say it's a roll up, make sure that you're looking to take that a little bit lighter, be a little bit more cautious, because this is a position that Hassan or Reality is taking with either profit or as just an add-on to a previous position. This is not a brand new thing. You don't want to throw your main position sizing into something like this. Today, when we were looking at this, we talked about scaling, right? So scaling into a position is where you slowly buy this contract, right? So I'm looking and I normally purchase 10 contracts of something. I'm not really liking the price action. I might slowly start to add into this position. So rather than dropping $4,000, right, to buy 10 of these Tesla contracts, I'll buy 1 or 2, and then maybe we'll come around. I'll start to see how we're looking on the chart. I'll add a couple more. And ultimately, if I like the position, I'll have that 10 contract limit that I aim for. But when we're scaling into something, we're just doing it slowly, taking a little bit more caution. This is even smaller position sizing than when you're doing a roll up, but something that you need to be aware of. These are these can get lost, when we see scaling, when we see we're going to actually roll up, and then when we see trims, they can get lost in the actual signal. So there's no point in you rushing around and entering a position incorrectly. Take the time, make sure that you're reading the signal, you're seeing how the signal is broken down, and you're purchasing the contracts accordingly, right? You never want to get stuck, and it's the worst feeling when I see somebody come in and they put a large position sizing into something that was a roll up after SPX has already ran 100 points, and then they get burnt because they didn't read the actual contract breakdown properly. So when you're doing that, a couple of tips that I have, let's see if I can pull this up, is after I see my contracts and I know what we're watching, where's Zoom at? Let's change the screen share here in 1 second. Is to make a watch list, right? So you know that you have watch lists with your actual contract tickers. You know, you can swap these through, they'll go through your charts. But what a lot of new traders don't have is a watch list for your options. So in that last example, we saw Hassan say that we're going to start watching 4130 put, right? So the same way that you, this is obvious, I don't, this might not work because it's actually expired now. The same way that you add, where are we, options watch list, the same way that you add stock tickers or ETF tickers to your regular watch list, you should be adding the options contracts that you're watching to a watch list as well. Now, for me, I know that we had potential to go down. I tend to add a couple strikes up and a couple strikes down of the option that I'm watching. So if I want to roll up, it's already there. Or if I need to go the other direction, I have a call ready. But options to the watch list is a big thing. If you haven't already watched it, make sure that you go through the video for the TOS setup. We have that in Discord. That can be found in the useful resources section. So if you scroll down, you go to tools and resources. Under useful resources, you can see that there are a couple different TOS setups, as well as a standalone channel for Hassan's TOS setup. I have mine. I break down what I do in my pre-market strategy. Make sure, if you're new, and I assume that out of the few people that are here, that you have to be relatively new to options, go through, take the time and watch everything that we have in the useful resources. I've broken this down for a reason. There's a lot of information here on just basic utilization of TOS, because that's what I use. There's basic breakdowns for IBKR. There is just general rule of thumb options information. The more information that you consume, the better it's gonna help you in the end. So I've curated this for a reason. Take the time to go through it. It is a lot. This could be a whole weekend's worth of watching, maybe even a little bit more, and then come back. The main takeaway from this is make sure that as you're joining the server, you're just kind of figuring out how everything works. Take a couple days, watch how each trader runs their signals. Get comfortable with the speed of execution, because the last thing that you want to do, and I've been there, is get into a play and Hassan scaling out in the first minute and you're too slow or you don't understand that it's going to be happening that quick and you've stepped away and now you've missed the move, missed the exit. So take the time, it'll help you in the end. Watch a couple days with each moderator, see how they operate, watch the signals, make sure that you're looking to see if they're trimming, make sure you're looking to see if they're scaling, make sure to see that it's a roll up. Number one, make sure you buy the right contract. The amount of times I've seen people purchase the wrong expo or the incorrect strike, so it's a call and they bought a put, it's astronomical, so don't do that. And yeah, this is the quick breakdown of how to actually read the signal. So I'm going to be recording this. As you can tell, we're going to post it just so it is there. A sell of myself. If you did not watch the class that we had Saturday, and this is going to be very important for newer traders. I know that there's only 11 of you here. Go and listen to that and start journaling. I'm holding another journaling class on Saturday. So I will actually go through and review people specifically. This is key. So we will go through one-on-one in front of everybody, go through your journal, figure out what a little of the flaw is in your trading, or maybe you had a perfect week and there is none. And then we'll go from there. But that is also in the useful resources channel. So make sure you go through that as well. If you have any questions, feel free to add me in trade discussion. Oh, there we go. That's actually a good question. So what if I can't afford the contract that is signaled? Can I take another contract? So the answer to this in short is yes. The logic behind what and how you can take this is a little bit more advanced than what we'll cover here. I want to run something on contract selection because in theory, as options traders, all we're really doing is saying, hey, we're going to go up or we're going to go down, right? So there's a multitude of contracts that you could take. Obviously, you see the options chain. You know that there's hundreds of different possibilities, thousands maybe, for what contract you can select. And you can make money off of a lot of those as long as your direction is right. But that is a little outside of the scope of just understanding how to read the options contract. We will, I do want to cover that. That's actually on my list of things to do. Slowly but surely. So I'm going to start doing a series of videos, whether we're going to do it 20-minute sessions like we did here, maybe 30 to an hour. But slowly we're going to build a stronger content library so we have answers to these questions in video format. And this is just the start of this one. So thank you, everybody. Again, if you have any other questions, I'm going to close the Zoom chat. Feel free to just add me in the trade discussion and I will follow up there.